welcome to our very first broadcast of Heroes and Hooligans Unmasked and Unchained, where we are going to now start coming to you weekly after session with a, sort of backstage after show talk show where we're going to talk to you about, the characters' feelings in the campaigns, go over some plot points, get to meet some of the NPC cast, some of the people that are working backstage on putting art together for the campaign, all the things of the sort. So we are going to unmask these characters and unchain these NPCs. What a great show, guys. That was really fucking fantastic.
Before we start, how great was that intro video? That came together so good.
Very, very clean. I like it. That music, shout out to Jason for making us that music there. He put that together for us today. And we threw it in a video there.
I appreciate you telling me, I want a little more wow to it.
Yeah.
Yes, you got it.
I wanted something that was more like, we just spent 2 hours in session, we're going to take a brief intermission, and then we're going to come back, and then boom, ta-da, here we are. It's excitement. Sort of break you out of character, because spending 2 hours when you're fully leaning into your character, and then, you kind of need that time to come out. So it's just kind of like a jolt of energy, awake, and boom, there you go. Executed brilliantly.
So good.
So good. So good. So guys, let's talk about the session today.
I thought, personally, it was a real Jack in the Box.
Dude, that was so painful. I was like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, it was definitely a Jack in the Box thing to happen
that was
there.
So funny though. That was so funny. The combination
really
of every time Marek goes to say something too, and he is like, "Well, I think," meets. What the fuck?
Yeah, it took me.
Hang on.
To really get it.
Yeah, what do you think, Marek Mercer? What is it that you're thinking?
I think that was a lot of fun.
That was so funny.
Yeah, it was just meant to be this whole experience, right? The whole point was to really wind you up and rile you up and bring you to this place of enlightenment while you're pissing your pants trying to get there. What's going on? Why am I feeling these crazy things? You're in the layer of a mind flayer.
What's going on?
Dude, I'll tell you right now, Phyllis was going insane.
Yes. So was Glitch. Glitch was like, this must be what madness feels like.
Yeah.
You entered into the layer of a mind flayer. Yeah, fantastic.
I didn't mean to end Glitch so quick either. I was like, oh no, she's gone. So fast. And everyone else, I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what's happening.
It was really good. It was really, really good. Entering into the layer of a mind flayer, right? You're very low level characters. You're only first level still. You're walking into this place and you're like, all right, well, we're gonna go fight these Heartless. And I'm just like, yeah, that's what you think, right? So you're coming across this mind flayer and you guys are like, who the hell is this guy? And he's just like, well, I'm way too good for you, but you can call me Bob. And you guys are just it's killing me. You're asking these questions, right? What's going on? I don't concern myself with mortal matters.
Oh my
yes,
God.
Bob, you don't. It's so great. This just megalomaniac personality.
Yeah.
I'm better than you. You're here in my establishment because you came in. Go do whatever it is that you do and stop talking to me, you peon.
Yeah,
that's
it's so
exactly
great.
the vibe.
Yeah, it was so good because that's exactly how I view any level 8+ would view a first level party. That's exactly
that's true. Yeah, we're just peons.
Like,
But honestly, looking at it, I kept thinking of Dr. Zoidberg.
I don't know if you can do that voice anymore, though.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's the opposite of Dr. Zoidberg. That's all I could think about.
That's coming back, by the way. I think some.
It is, yeah. But without Joe DiMaggio.
No.
You can't do that without Joe DiMaggio. You can't.
I know. But they are.
That was an incredible session, Hooli.
Thank you.
With all the visuals and like all the cool music. I mean, that was really cool. When you start playing the music, I was like, okay, this is going to be a battle royale, you know. And these little things are going to be crawling out of the woodwork.
No, we're just I'm very different in combat, right? Like I don't fully like to do a full session of combat because 2 hours of combat is monotonous, right? Like we're going to have heavy combat days, don't get it wrong, right? But I wanted to sort of introduce you into combat in the campaign and like sort of ease you into it because it is a very narrative storytelling campaign. It's like, okay, so here you go. Here's your first encounter with, you know, some of these bad guys. Let me just present you with these cute little cuddly things. And then you're like, oh shit balls, these do more damage than I ever thought they were going to do. But their health pool was actually really so low too.
I don't know that was being eased in. 2 people were eased right to the ground. I was completely out of heals. Like I was like, oh, I hope we don't have any more battles because I don't even have a catchphrase for this when I get help.
Yeah, what happens what's your catchphrase when you do not
No,
have
trust
health
me. I was like,
insurance?
oh shit, I need a catchphrase for when I'm out of heals. I don't have one.
Your health plan has expired.
Oh my God.
You have exceeded your deductible.
You have not paid your Cobra
I
payment.
was gonna say, Cobra payment. Yeah,
Your Cobra
my-
payment has not been
my
received.
kids were in high school when I lost it. When the market crashed. It's like, yeah, the Cobra payment was more than my mortgage.
That's when the waiter was selling you a mortgage at your when you're going to dinner and the waiter is selling you a mortgage. You know something's going on.
So what do you think, right? Like as players, early on in the campaign, what do you think, you know, having these guest star NPCs, how do you think that affects the campaign?
So good.
Oh, it's so fun.
It's so cool. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it definitely adds a new level to it.
Yeah, so fun. I love
love
that
it.
idea.
Yeah, it's unique too. I've never been in a campaign where there's all these like guest NPCs and stuff. It's really neat.
And how do you feel about it, Lala? Like as somebody who is playing multiple NPCs in this campaign, how do you feel like coming in and what is your like experience? Talk to us about it a little.
So I'm having so much fun because it's really fun to just kind of, it's like DMing light. I don't have to do any of the hard part. I just have to show up and be as, you know, funny or scary or whatever as possible. There are definitely some moments though where my brain just freezes and panics a little bit. But I'm really enjoying it, and I'm glad that me being here, that you guys are enjoying it too, because I definitely think it makes each NPC kind of come alive a little bit more than having, you know, like Hooli try to voice every single one of them all the time. So I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that I make it better for you guys.
Yeah, I think it really changes like that. It really adds like new tone to each session because it's no matter how good a DM is, there's only so much, you know, it just changes the entire vibe. It's great. It's awesome.
Yeah, it flows different and it's easier to interact with them, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like the new person, it's mysterious. Like I don't know who Bob is as a person or as a NPC at all. Like I didn't even know Bob was playing a different character maybe last week as a bartender or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I didn't figure that out until right now.
Yep, that's great. That's like a huge kudos there.
Really? You guys couldn't tell? That makes me feel really good, actually.
No,
that you did really well.
Yeah.
No, you're so cold and different as a.
Yeah,
so cold.
Yeah, because it was like
Cold and
it's,
icy
both
and
characters are in the
intimidating.
hospitality. Both NPCs are in the hospitality business.
Well,
And one is very welcoming and wants to serve you. And
yeah, the kelp reviews are going to be very different between the two.
kelp reviews.
They're really good.
Like I said, I'm really glad I can enhance the experience for you guys. And I do think I wasn't keeping track of who was talking, but one of you said like you don't know the NPC, but you also don't know the player, quote unquote. And I think that's really awesome too, because you guys, eventually you can, with a DM doing everything, you can kind of anticipate what a DM is going to say or do in reaction to you, but you're never going to be able to anticipate what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
That is true. I love it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm never even going to be able to anticipate what some of these NPCs are going to do. Really, because when I talked to these people that are playing certain NPCs, some of them, I gave them the ability to give you guys quests should they so choose to do so. And I gave them free reign to play their NPC the same way you guys have free reign to play your character, right? So you pick your personality, you pick your voice, you picked your acting style, you picked your class, like everything that you made, your character, you chose that ability. The only thing that I'm giving to them is here's a small chunk of knowledge that you may know, deliver it how you choose to do so. Here's the establishment that you work in. If you want to name it, go ahead and name it. If you don't, I'll pull something out of my ass and we'll go from there. Like they have entire creative freedom over those NPCs. It's like they're coming in, and playing, like Lala said, without any responsibility. They're a player that gets to play a character that they don't have to maintain a sheet for. They don't have to keep notes or anything for, should they so not choose to, because I have all of that stuff neatly organized in a very rainbow color coded spreadsheet that all of our NPC guest actors have access to. So it's like they're just, there if they want to be. And there's a lot of mysterious element to it because there's no script. There's no script to any of this. So I'm just like, here's 3 lines at maximum of some information, take it and run with it. And they just really put their own spin and personality on these characters and how they interact with you guys. Like you could come across an NPC that if I would have played them, that they would have been maybe more presentable and forthcoming with information. But then you come across somebody like Bob, who's just like, yeah, you're absolutely beneath me because of who I am and what, my sort of character background is. So I don't have to tell you fuck all because it doesn't mean anything, but go meet your destiny upstairs if you want to, I guess.
It reminds me of like how Al Qaeda has like cells.
Yeah. Oh yes.
And then, like it's just like go out there and do the mission, but just blow up some stuff. But you don't have to worry about like how to we're not going to tell you how to do it, but we want you to go out there and blow up a few buildings for us.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just strapping these bombs of information to these martyrs and sending them into your party on suicide missions. That's exactly correct.
Al Qaeda style.
Yeah, straight up.
It's Al Qaeda dungeon mastering style.
Yeah.
It's a death trap. It's a suicide rap.
That was a death trap.
Yeah,
by the way, Bob is very insulted that you think his hotel is a death trap.
I heard death trap like 15 times. I was like, man, they're really saying death trap a lot.
And it really
was people who've never even been in a fight though.
Right.
Fair. But it's
we're
like
regular schmegular people, like what feels like to us a couple days ago, and here we are being attacked by little gremlins.
Think of like Jedi inductees, right? And how they sort of go through this like path of totality where they have to, sever their ties to their loved ones and let go of their fears and their emotions and sort of be in the moment and living for the light and focusing solely on the positivity in life, because there's already enough darkness in the world. It's just like, it's meant to be this whole, philosophy. And Jason had said it in the chat at the side at one point, let's get philosophical. And I kind of giggled because I'm like, well, you really don't even know what philosophical is coming here, right? Like face your fucking fears. Don't be a pansy. All right.
I'll be fun.
I was trying to make a let's get physical joke based on that intro video. So it didn't.
I got it. I totally got it.
There you go. Good.
Oh, we're talking Olivia Newton-John here.
The intro video was very 80s.
Oh yeah.
The intro video to the session. Yeah, no, that's totally actually the vibe that I kind of rolled with. Once we started kind of building the intro to Unmasked and Unchained, when I was like showing it to you and we were talking about it, and you were like, yeah, that bright, and I was like, Miami Vice feel, like that's what I took and rolled with on all of the graphics that I built. I'm like, all right, Miami Vice it is. Let's throw some good shit on here. Let's do it. And I was like bright and colorful because I was like, what can I do, right, that is completely opposite of this campaign without being like frilly frou-frou princesses? So I wanted something that was bright and sort of upbeat, so that way when you're like plunged into the darkness that is the world that we're playing in, that you're, kind of ready, maybe a little, not.
Tonight was that was tough. That was a challenging night.
Yeah, it was in the best way.
Yes, in the
so
best
fun.
way.
It was good. I really liked you guys. You all leaned into those curses so well too, right? Like I was losing it, like falling out of myself, muted cackling, and you can hear me cackling through Chris's microphone because I'm done. Like I'm just over it. I'm dead in my chair over here because it was killing me out. And I knew giving Jason the sing-song one was gonna be perfect because I know Jason. So I knew. And then Rob was like getting so annoyed, like, all right, I'm done with this guy singing. I'm smashing this stone. And I'm like, all right, I got something for you, Mr. Stone Smasher. Now he's more obnoxious and even more rock star than he was before.
So funny.
It was so good, but you figured it out. Like you walked through it. Like puzzles are fun. I really enjoy puzzles a lot because it makes you think, right? Like you're trying to think of how can we explain our curses without telling each other that we're cursed, because that's like a rule that we were told we can't say that we're cursed or what's our problem. So we have to figure out how to tell each other. And you're just like, Phyllis is over here gagging on the letter F, and then Ollie is very pornographically describing standing up and moving his trunk and things and putting his thing in the thing and touching the thing, and it was solid gold. I think you guys really grabbed that and ran with it really well.
Rob, your timing with the Jack in the Box, you would let it linger
so good,
just enough and then drop it on us, and I was just losing it.
Just like, wait for it.
Yeah.
Wait for it. It's coming.
I like tried
you
to
just
set
let
you
that
up so
tension
many
build
times.
and then hit us with it.
I like the gratuitous use of peace cells too, by the way.
Oh yeah. I was like, my brain was like, okay, what's a line? Like I'm trying to use one line a thing, and then I would Google it, and then I'd have to look it up. Does it say the thing?
Oh, was that Megadeth?
Yeah.
No shit. Yeah. Jay loves Megadeth.
I do love it. What's not to love? I mean, I wouldn't like go to see him or anything. Not like.
I might. I wouldn't, but I might. Oh, that's hilarious. All right, guys. Hey, I will miss my daughter's wedding next week to be here. I just wanted to let you know that.
Well, we'll make sure it's epic and fancy for you.
I'm looking up the laws and I'm not sure that works. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, my daughter is running in the state championship meet this weekend. So wish her luck. All right, guys. I'll see you.
We'll catch Ollie.
Peace out.
Next week.
Bye.
But it was really good, guys. Like I really think that you really grabbed exactly what Bob and I were dangling at you today, and it worked out really well. And I like this this after show, right? Like I think this is a really good idea and a really good way to like break down the session for, you know, our viewers and things like that. And also for ourselves, because I do keep all of these recordings. So if ever anybody needs a copy or wants a hard copy or wants to go back and listen, you can go back and do that too.
I'll never listen to that again. I wish I had, if there's any night, I wish I had a decent mic and 3 screens so I could, like, oh, I'm strong.
Yeah, I had 2 screens up.
I probably will go back and clip some of it.
I definitely don't want to hear my
It was
weird attempts.
beautiful. It was beautiful. It was
Good night,
wonderful.
Glitch.
Good night, Glitch. We'll see you.
See you next week.
But no, it was good. It was solid gold. I'm gonna clip some of it, I think, and put it up in the server.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
So speaking of singing, right? Like our Twitch channel, we have channel rewards, and the audience is able to use those channel points that they get to help or hinder the party. And some of the things that we've already had is like they could give you inspiration, they could give you a healing potion like during combat, or they could even throw a random encounter at you, right? But we're going to be adding some new things. And one of the new things we're going to be adding is like a sing for it sort of challenge, right? So like the audience is going to say, Merrick, you got to sing for it, right? And somebody's going to cash their points. And then once you sing for it, you'll get something, whether it's advantage or you're able to, you know, pass a skill check or something. It'll be something that it will be relative to the campaign, but we're going to add a few more little doots into the session for you guys to be able to have a little bit of, you know, extra fun in there, because we've had on this channel, we've had that for the last year, we've had those channel points up and able to be used. And we've had nights where the party would have TPK'd had the audience not given us healing potions, but we've also had nights where the party has caused TPKs, or the audience has caused a TPK for the party because they just didn't like the direction they were going. So they tossed them random encounters back to back. And it really just brings this like extra creative, like the dice gods are watching element to the stream. And so we're going to be adding a few extra things. So keep on the lookout for that as well.
I think it's cancel culture.
It's not cancel culture.
No.
Cancel culture doesn't exist.
Love you, Giles.
Cancel culture doesn't exist.
I think the audience being able to affect the experience is great. I think it's a great thing. Anybody that thinks it's not, like, I don't know.
Oh, it sounds wicked fun.
It is. It brings, like, as a player in a party who's been influenced, and as a DM that has taken audience influence on both ends, it's been very fucking entertaining. And it also amuses me when the players are like not remembering, because you'll forget that that's a thing, right? Like we're talking about it now, you'll remember it like the next 1 or 2 sessions, and then you'll forget about it. And then all of a sudden, randomly, you'll get hit with something good or bad, and you'll be like, oh shit, thank you, audience. Like, this is great. You know, and it's just like, I don't know, it gives like this extra edge to the world, right? Like it's just like the world is watching sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so like if you're in the real world and you're being a dick and balls to everybody in the real world, like you're going to get that sort of thing in return. So it's kind of like the reaction from the world. If you're being a jerk, you get jerk. If you're being nice, like they'll give you, oh, here's a little inspiration, you know?
Let me explain why you're wrong.
Let me explain why
you're wrong. You're wrong. Here's why.
Oh, it's entirely fucking amusing. It really is. And I think it's a lot of fun really, to get everybody together. Honestly, like D&D it's a very social game, and online D&D has really opened up. Like COVID sucked, right? Like everybody can say COVID really sucked and it drew the life out of everything, but it really expanded the world of online D&D, and it has grown to be like this massive tool. And right, like there's things at my fingertips DMing online that I have access to, and resources like sitting at a table. I have jitters DMing at a table. Like I DM'd in December at Christmas for some friends of mine, and I was just like stumbling over my words, confused, and like, oh man, did I do this part already? Like, am I in the right spot? Like I was so fucking like nervous, but like behind my computer screen, I can hit you with videos and music and sounds and people, and just like have this whole dynamic experience, and it just feels great, right? Like it just brings this extra, I don't know, je ne sais quoi, we'll say.
It is really growing. I was supposed to, well, I was working with a bunch of people that flew out here, and they were talking about going to happy hour and dinner to have like a meeting after our big meetings. And I said, well, I really can't. And I was vague at first. I was like, look, I'll be available if we get out of here early, maybe before from 5 West Coast time to 7:30, I'm gonna be busy. And then finally, one of the guys and I were just talking. I was about to leave, and I was like, so yeah, I'm going to play Dungeons and Dragons, and we live stream it. And he was like, oh, that's awesome. Me and my friends, we play this space-based thing, and we just play on Discord. And I was like, yeah, blah blah blah, and this and that, and that's why I'm doing it. He's like, oh, I totally get it. Yeah, of course.
It's really a surprise to meet closet nerds, right? Like you work with people that you have no idea that play, whether it's Dungeons and Dragons or other, tabletop RPGs or something along the lines. Like it's so interesting to see the different sort of people that come to a table, right? Like doctors and lawyers and electricians and cooks and accountants.
No, it's true. It's always funny to see people's face when I tell them that this is what I fucking do with my free time.
Some people are just like, I don't understand it, nerd.
They're like, that thing that you apply like with dice?
Yeah, and then if they were to watch a broadcast, right? Like if they were to watch tonight, for example, they would be like, that's D&D, that's Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, bitches, it is. It's 2022 Dungeons and Dragons. We're not 1988 in our best friend's basement playing Dungeons and Dragons, fighting demigorgons. Hey, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
Were you playing?
Like you're dropping F-bombs on Phyllis. I feel like Phyllis, you're dropping F-bombs.
Oh, okay, I'll correct it. 1993. It's not 1993.
I wasn't alive yet. I still wasn't alive.
I just love the range that D&D can have, because you're right. Like, so I'm actually in an in-person group on Sunday, and we have one of our players is only 21, like a month ago 21.
Oh my God,
such a baby. And then one of our other players is in his mid-50s. And it's it's so much fun, and we're all from different walks of life with different types of jobs, and I think it's really great. I love the diversity, not only in the players, but in the types of games, because there are still people that run 3.5 and are probably fighting demigorgons in their mother's basement.
Do you need I have Ricola over here. Would you like one?
I feel like I need. Well, listen. I sang Megadeth. Yeah.
You did sing Megadeth. You did.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what that is.
Megadeth?
Like, I feel like that's like that's like a band.
Yeah, Megadeth is metal.
Type. So you've heard of Metallica?
Metal? Yeah, of course, yeah.
The guy that is Megadeth was in early Metallica, and he was such an asshole that they kicked him out. And he was like the only one that wasn't like a super drunk and drug addict, but he was the worst asshole of the world. He's a very good guitar player, so he started his own band. I'll start my own band. What do you mean?
Megadeth.
Megadeth.
I just want to say thank you again to Lala before she leaves for providing some of our graphics. She's redone our business logos that I had made, and she built this background that we have here, this Heroes and Hooligans, and also has been assisting me in our graphic making. So thank you, my darling dearest Lala, for all of the help that you are giving us in production.
That was great.
And we'll catch you next week.
Very cool. Thank you.
You guys are very welcome. Have a good week. I'll see you next time.
How old is Megadeth? Now I'm curious.
I don't know when their last song. Like they probably are still together. What else are they gonna do?
Oh yeah, it looks like they broke up for 2 years and then got back together.
Yeah, because they ran out of money.
Oh,
And so
The
like,
singer had cancer, but
what's that?
the singer had cancer, but
Oh,
yeah,
now I
they're
feel
touring
bad.
again.
Now I can't talk any shit on them.
no, you can't.
But I used a Megadeth song in our Sunday campaign. They did like a Caribbean style song called Symphony of Destruction, and I would use it whenever the party would go on a boat trip. And I would always throw like some crazy encounter that was for sure going to destroy the boat. And they had to, and I would play that because it's just got a island kind of feel to it, but it's about destruction. So
Oh, yeah, getting tossed off that fucking boat and having to make a series of strength and dexterity checks when I'm a charisma caster. And I'm like, when I first joined the party, like I joined the Sunday night group when they were at level 6. So it wasn't like Jason's level schedule is similar to mine. It's just, I think, a little more progressive. So it's like they were level 6. They had, I don't know, they had like 12 or 16 sessions before I joined them. And so like, it was my first time on a boat with these guys, and here goes Jason, destroys this motherfucker in the middle of the ocean, and I'm a soft, squishy, weak, no armor wearing character drowning for my life because I cannot make a strength save to help steer the boat for nothing.
Now, in my defense, I did put up a photo of all of the parts of the boat, and told everyone to figure out their roles, like what they were going to do on the boat, because the captain, talk about blowing out your voice. That night I had to do that captain. My voice was shot for 2 days, but he was very salty dog.
Oh yeah.
But it's not like I just flat out destroyed the boat.
No, you didn't flat out destroy us.
I gave you a chance, but invariably, anytime the party gets on a boat, it became like an inside joke. Like if a party gets on a boat, bad shit is gonna happen.
Bad shit is gonna fucking happen. That was actually the truth. Bad shit is just gonna happen. But it was like so necessary in like the beginning parts when we were traveling to like Calfax and places of the sort where we didn't have like the quote unquote fast travel points unlocked yet. You know, the lighthouses, we didn't have them open yet. So there was no quick way around it. And that was a very living, breathing world, very similar to this Wednesday night world. So it was just like, well, there's no way around it. You have to take a fucking boat. Sucks to suck.
Sucks to suck.
The benefit is you sort of feel the pain, so you want to go find those easier options and do the quests that require, that you need to do to give yourself those fast travel options. Because, I certainly don't. Look, if I'm going to put you on a horse or a boat, like there's no way, there's very little way to make that fun. So, yeah. So I like horse races, or not horse races, horse chases, like car chases, and bad shit happening to boats.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was a good time. Like it gave something. I had never been on a boat in a D&D campaign that required me to do any sort of physical labor as a player. Like that was never something I had done before, so it was a brand new experience for me. And like Sunday Night Campaign was the first time I had ever streamed D&D even. Like that was a brand new mindset for me even as well, because I had streamed video games on Twitch and stuff, whatever, but
Sure.
it's different playing D&D behind a screen. And like Lala said, like she gets nervous. No, man, I was super, super nervous. I think I was so stoned the first session that I couldn't even think straight because I was so nervous. I couldn't even
Really?
yeah, no, I was, because I didn't know anybody but Alex. And like I hadn't played
Well,
in the
Alex, I mean, who?
yeah,
No one
Alex.
will make you feel more comfortable than Alex.
Yeah, and he's just like that older brother you never asked for, but is consistently bullying you, but like out of love, right? Like if he's not punching you in the face for breakfast, you're like, why don't you love me, big brother? What did I do to you? Sort of kind of relationship. And like that's how Alex and I have always been. And so like Alex was the only person I knew on Sunday nights. I hadn't ever met any of you before. Like I had talked to you a short amount before we launched live, like very minimal information, you know, my backstory. I don't write backstory. I'm not a backstory person. We all know that. So like I got just like a little bit about the world and some things like that. But like I was coming into a campaign that had already started. I hadn't had time really to catch up on any of the episodes before like the session started and I joined. Like I listened to some, but I was still so confused. And then like we came in and it was we were going to Harboron. And so they had found this journal. We were like on the road to Harboron. We hadn't gotten in yet. So they had just like dropped off who we figured out later was
That was right
Venka.
after the horse chase.
Yep.
Yep.
Where they had like the broken carriage and they had gotten kicked out of the college and all of that. Like it was after that.
For all the shit I talked on Giles and his humor about just butchering NPCs' names, I sure am falling into the trap of doing a lot of puns in this campaign.
Well, it's kind of punny, right? Like it's a little punny. But also at the same time, there's a difference between.
Very divisive. It's a very divisive topic in comedy.
Well,
some
like,
people would say it's the lowest form of comedy.
There's a difference between using puns and playing a character, right? And mansplaining outdated humor. Like if you have to explain the joke, it isn't funny. So like when you use this like obscure reference from 1903 that only appeared once in like early radio air commercials that only 3 people heard because it was early technology days and nobody else knows anything about it, and you're sitting in a room with like a bunch of people that are just hip to the jive and up to date with the world, so like nobody gets this reference and you're just like, oh, let me explain it to you. It becomes very daunting very quickly.
That's actually wrong, and like Trotsky said to Lenin.
This is so North Korea of you. Oh God, and the out of character references throw me.
Pun.
Kim Jong pun. Oh my God. Oh, that's the greatest.
One of his brothers irks me so bad. Are we still alive? Yeah, we are. I'm not going to say it. Never mind, next topic.
So, but yeah, no.
I'm going to say it because I really don't care. I created a D&D character to sit at the table with that guy because he irked me so bad. I just made a character that was him and just played him back to him.
How'd he take it?
Went for months, and he would just get drunk and stare at me like he wasn't sure what I was doing. Everyone else definitely knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And the guy just looked at you like, duh, what? That's the great thing about D&D, right? Like you and I have talked about this many times, Jason. Like you get to play D&D, you know, most people play once a month, maybe normal campaigns, but ours run once a week, 2 hours a week, roughly. You get to play for 2 hours. That's 2 hours you can be anybody you want to be. Like in the real world, unfortunately, I can't be an elf, warlock, tentacle god that, you know, does.
Well, you get it. That's because you're down south. I mean, you can definitely do that in New York.
Well, down here I can be a furball
Like that is like
druid.
you can't even like that's like just regular New York. You couldn't. That would be like so tame and
Tentacle slinging elves.
yeah, that's like nothing.
No one would blink an eye. Like that's for sure. People would just keep their
Well,
head down, keep walking.
down here around these parts where I'm located, that's just not something you see too regularly,
You guys also say hello to each other.
What? No,
which is
that's
strange.
not real.
Well,
They
you
do,
see,
dude. I've seen it for myself.
Get out of here.
Yeah, dude. It's wild.
I'm a Southern transplant. I'm from Michigan, so it's a little different for me because people in Michigan are just as fucking rude as they are on the East Coast.
Well, just remember, if anyone down there says, "Well, bless your heart,"
I'm looking at them.
Turn your back.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at
Back
them,
away,
trying to
Simo.
decide whether they're blessing my heart, or blessing my heart.
Yeah,
You know what
just
I mean?
Back away real slow.
I went to South Carolina one time, and like the shock of how nice people were, like really threw me. It was really weird. Cause I'm
Yeah,
from like
but
Boston.
don't
You're
walk
from
down the
Boston.
sidewalk with a ice cream cone in your back pocket here in Alabama because it's still illegal. in case
Only
you're
on
wondering.
Sundays.
Only on Sundays. There's a bunch of really
is that
weird
with a
rules.
Y at the end or an E at the end?
But rim shots.
Is it just like an elaborate pun written into the Constitution down there?
I think I'm gonna build like a 5-second rim shots video and put it in our backstage. So whenever you make a pun, I'm just gonna
I need to find my drop because when the Sunday campaign went up to the astral plane and I had those holly fonts and those elephants, I had those elephant sound effects like I need to find those, and every time Ollie says something, I'm gonna drop them. Early in the session, I said I have to let out some air because I'm so committed to making that joke work because it works in the movie. I have to be able to make it work. But when I first did it today, I was able to do it with my lips, and I was like, yes. But I can't do it now, so I got to really work on that one.
Yeah, it's like your one of your to-do things for this character. Like really work on that vocal hiss of air coming out of your mouth.
Yeah, I gotta get it.
It's really good. It's really good stuff. I think this campaign has a lot of potential. Like you guys put in a lot of effort into, well, what I view as a lot of effort as a DM into playing a character, because the downfall, right, of playing online D&D and a lot of the way that I've played in a lot of West March style servers. And so I'll DM 50 games in 1 week and I'll play with 200 different people. And out of those 200 people, maybe 5 people dedicate themselves to building a character backstory and playing a role where everybody else is just min-maxing, right? So this is a totally different online setting than that. So it's nice to see, people actually attempting to do voices, building story around their character, staying in that and trying to, maintain that sort of representation that they had originally, built. And the progression of coming out of that, right? Like if you start your character with one sort of attitude in your goal, in one of your goals that we talk about is to change that attitude, watching your characters grow and come out of that too, when you've worked to, stay in that sort of frame of mind and really play that character, it's really great. Like I really enjoy that part as a DM, watching characters like develop and arc through their own stories along with the main story.
Yeah, that's the key. If you're just like playing this to show off, then you're not going to develop those party dynamics because you're not really paying attention to each other.
Today felt like the best party dynamics we've had so far.
Oh yeah,
for
sure.
Well, you're just getting started too. Like you're in your 3rd session. You just got a little taste of combat today. You're going to get more combat, through the weeks to come, but like you're just starting to develop. Like I said, this is a very heavily narrative campaign. There's a lot of story and scene to set before you can really go adventuring, because you like wake up in a place and you've been asleep for however many years you have been asleep, and you're just like, what the hell is going on? So now you have to paint this world around you for you to like understand before you can progress. So we're like, that's where we're at right now, is we're in the intro parts of painting the world around you and getting your feet wet before you take a full dive into the whole world, you know.
How great was the put your hair up and the battle? You delivered it like so well, and the second time you did it, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely
Dang.
putting my hair up, because I'm just like picturing like a girl taking her hoop earrings out.
I wasn't gonna say that.
Well, you're both from the Upper East Coast. That's fairly normal out there to pop your hoop earrings out, right?
Absolutely.
Like you're on the
Absolutely.
shore on the beach in the summertime, and
Dude,
somebody
your hoop earrings just appear in your ears. Just all of a sudden. It's just like as soon as you're angry. You haven't worn hoop earrings since you were 13, and all of a sudden they're there.
+1 hoop earrings of rage.
Yeah, someone like is testing the validity of your spray tan, and you're just like, no, let me take my hoops out really quick. Like, this is a problem for me.
Unfortunately, I don't have a spray tan, but I have had spray tan in the past.
Unfortunately.
Oh, it's expensive. I'm super
purely
pale.
an economic thing. Okay.
That's
purely
it. That's the only
economic.
reason. It's purely economic, yeah. I would totally have one. I have one every time I have to do something important. I'm so pale. I don't go outside and I work nights. I'm practically a vampire.
Well, so the blood chocolates, maybe you should aid it, Phyllis.
Yeah, that's.
Dude, I'm legit, like, real life, Katie Leahy is a fucking vampire.
What did you guys think of those blood chocolates?
I was scared of them. I was real
You were
scared.
scared.
Hell
Merrick's
yeah,
over here
Merrick's
just like,
gonna
ooh,
die.
tasty.
Their blood. You're like, they taste like Mickles. They're like, I know what tastes like Mickles.
Somebody had to.
No,
So I figured I'd go for it.
That is now your role in the party, is to be the one that tries something that.
And it's really funny because Shen, I know she's watching and listening. Her character has a flaw of the fact that it can't help but put things in its mouth. So I was like fully expecting Glitch to say, "Ooh, chocolate!" and stuff it in her face.
Too.
And no, here goes Merrick. Oh, chocolate! I'll try it.
I thought for sure.
A big old bite. Sure. That's what I heard.
Mentally, Phyllis was like reaching to grab it as you took that huge bite. I was like, oh shit, no. It's just a Ghirardelli chocolate disguised as something scary. There was a dragon thing. What was I remembering? There was a 2-headed dragon from the last one.
You're remembering some of the details of the
Theo's fight?
Yep, up the Battle of the Hand and that sort of
I couldn't remember if it was good or bad.
It completely actually unrelated, but way to connect the dots and pay attention to the things in the world. And that's kind of what I was thinking to myself whenever you were asking those questions. I knew what you were talking about. And I was like thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, way to connect the dots. Even though they're completely unrelated, it just shows that you're paying attention to the world and the lore. The story actually goes of the Hand. They were originally named something different. They were called the Crimson Skulk. And they were a whole underground thieves guild. And they were part of a much larger community, one of these West March style servers that I had played in previously. And I was an admin in that server, and I ran the Skulk. And Lysanthier Inahana is actually my first ever OC that I built. And I actually built her playing Neverwinter Nights before I even played D&D online. Because I went from tabletop. I played one tabletop game. We had like 4 or 5 sessions. And then I didn't play D&D for a while, and then I went to playing Neverwinter, which Neverwinter really like kicked me off into being interested into D&D, and that's how I got into like the online D&D. So I was like working in this server for a fairly large social influencer in the D&D community, and he had like different factions and stuff. So we had the Skulk. And Theo is from there, and so he was part of the leadership of the Skulk. And we had this like, I put together for the leaders of the Skulk this little like one-shot side quest where we went and killed a bunch of dragons based on something that was happening in the Neverwinter game at the time. It was like this Neverwinter Gates siege or whatever. So that's really the story that you guys are getting. We kind of, since Theo popped up and was is now an NPC in this campaign. Originally, he was going to play Alexander, totally unrelated to original Theo. And then we got to talking about it. And he's like, no, I'm going to play Theo. And I'm like, all right, let's do this. And let's tie in Theo's original lore into this campaign and turn it into something different. So we rebranded as the Hand. We have kept some of the original party members and have reached out to the people who actually originally played those characters. So we're going to see if we can get them to come in and voice those. And I know one of them, I had mentioned to you, Jason, this will be the first time that we are going to install a pre-recorded sort of chunk of the campaign as a video into the session. One of those players is in a far ahead of us time zone and is at work when we're playing. So we're going to record like a message from that player as their character. Yeah.
From the future.
Yeah. So that's something that's going to come in. But like the Hand was this group of thieves and rogues and stuff. It was like an underground knowledge network. And so essentially that's what you guys have gotten yourself into, is a cross between an underground knowledge network and the Grey Wardens from Dragon Age. That is what comprises the Hand. That is the Hooli mind of building the Hand, is something that we had done before, and a video game that I really enjoyed playing, concept smashed together, slotted into this campaign. So Theo and I have been like writing the Hand, and we put the lore together for you, and included some of the original information from the group before in that book, and then that book will expand as you guys continue. So as like you learn more information about the Hand, more will pop up in there. So that's kind of like a living, breathing document that you'll have there.
Very cool.
Love it. So good. Tonight was one of the best sessions I've ever seen. Like, it was legitimately, I'm like, should I mute or should I just let people hear how much I'm laughing? Should I mute? Am I on mute? Am I not on mute? It was so funny. It was so hard. It was so challenging in the best way.
Yeah.
If I would not have muted, you wouldn't have been able to hear you guys, because I was laughing so obnoxiously loud.
Oh.
It's from my belly. Like my stomach hurts.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how I was going to get my stuff out, because I was like, am I just going to start breaking up laughing while I try to do this?
You did good.
I had assumed when you were silent for so long, when presented with like the perfect opportunity, that you were trying to compose yourself to be able to, sing. Because I
didn't see it coming at all, and I was like, oh shit, how am I going to do this? Do I stay in Temper's voice somehow? How's that going to work?
So I have these different puzzles, right? And you played in this campaign before, and you experienced the red room and the green room instead of the orange room and the green room in a completely different way, right? Yeah. And you guys had the stones, but your curses were different. And so,
that's why I stayed out of the troubleshooting process, because I kind of knew the key to it. And I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to stay out of like figuring it out.
But we also like knew the answers too, so it's hard to like play the line of like, what does my character know and what do I know?
Yeah.
It was two options: run the risk of trying to DM everybody to see if they could get the information privately, or just give it to you and tell you know it, you can't talk about it, tough shit, figure it out.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I was like, 9 times out of 10 people don't check their DMs when they're streaming, because they don't have the large screen like I do, or they're not on multiple screens. Like Jason usually runs 3 screens when he's home. He's on a laptop now. He's down to 1. So he doesn't have, as much space. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to tell you guys and you're going to deal with it. Like, you're all going to know what each other's problem is. And here's the challenge.
Yeah, everybody did. And the magic was not in the figuring it out. The magic was in the chaos of everyone leaning into it.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I really enjoy that you leaned into it. And I had just I've been re-listening to the last sessions that we did record of this campaign, when we got they didn't get very much farther than where you guys are. I think I have 6 or 7 sessions in total from that. And so listening to how they sort of approached the things that you guys are coming into, and like the way that they handled these two tasks and the way that you guys did was completely different, but I also presented them very differently. So we're in a very copyrighted setting, right? So we're trying to avoid the copyright now, where before I didn't really care. And I played a lot of that music from before, and I tried to like avoid doing that this time. So I didn't like drop you some happy music on the door like I had presented it previously. So it's really kind of interesting to me as the person who has built this campaign and has DM'd it. This is the third group I've started running through this world, and it's interesting to me to see how very different each group has taken the world, especially knowing that one of the players that's in this group has played in it previously and is still taking it completely different than they had before. And I really appreciate that on Jason, because I know he's not one that's going to metagame me. Once he's in character, and that doesn't matter. If his old character did something, that's not what this character does, so it's not relevant, right? And I really appreciate that out of him, where some people can't give you that.
Well, I mean, it's honestly a lot easier for me, because now I just have to. What it might hurt the party that you don't have another person in there trying to figure things out, and we'll get to the point where we get beyond stuff that I have any idea about. But I've sort of just embraced the mindset of like, I'm the dummy in the group and I don't have to figure anything out. All I have to do is tell jokes.
Yeah, and it works. Like, it works the way that it needs to, right? Like, very much the rules of improv and leaning into the comedic aspect of it instead of taking it so serious that you're almost giving yourself hemorrhoids playing D&D, when that's not entertaining.
Hey,
you know. I'm gonna have to bring you some Prep H next time, because I feel like I'm irritating your hemorrhoids on multiple levels this evening with my old jokes. Snitches get stitches.
Gen X, get it right. Not a boomer.
Gen X, not a boomer. Not a boomer. That's right.
Not a boomer.
Gen X, X for crossed out, forgotten. It goes boomers, millennials. Who even is Gen X?
That's true, though.
Forgotten.
We will not be ignored. We will not be ignored. But anyway, it's a really good night, guys. I think you tackled it perfectly, and you really presented your character's take on the situations very well. And,
I was so tempted
really
to do CeeLo Green's "Fuck You."
Yes.
Oh my god,
that would have been so great. Funny, because I would have been like gagging.
I know. I was like, it will be funny. It will be hard. Like
2 seconds from doing like
do it?
What's his name? The fucking Dumb and Dumber gag.
Oh yeah.
Just like overly obnoxious retching.
Yeah.
That would be perfect. That would be perfect. We will not be ignored, shouts the Gen X from the audience.
Forgotten. We're actually a generation. Nobody thinks about us.
A generation of Saturday's children.
I mean, it could be worse. You know?
It could be the generation that ate Tide Pods.
Yeah, or you could be the generation that ate Tide Pods. Which, is that millennial or is that Z?
That's
Z,
Gen
right?
Z.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Gen Z.
I'm safe from that one.
I think we're just resentful because we were raised by the same generation that millennials were raised by. But when our parents had us, they were all like 19 and complete terrible parents. And then they grew up, and the ones that had millennial kids, they were 30 and just better parents. So we feel we're the latchkey kids.
I feel like I'd rather be forgotten almost than like the rep that millennials get, you know? Like, it's still not a good vibe. Not good vibes.
It's obnoxious, really, honestly, because it's like we kind of get that Gen Z dumb shit lumped in with us, because it's like the blurred lines between elder millennials and Gen X, and then like...
Here's my theory. We give these generations names, and they carry those names with them, but what we're really complaining about is everyone that is 50 thinks that people in their 20s are coddled and soft and entitled and lazy. and it's just everyone in their 20s thinks people in their 50s are not cool, over the hill, and everybody thinks people in their 40s are just like irrelevant.
Right, lame.
It's like the generation, like you start hearing millennials talk about Gen Z now the way that Gen X was talking about millennials 15 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, because these dumbass kids are out here smoking Tide Pods and
Yeah.
doing dumb shit.
Well,
It's just
Gen
like
X was smoking Thai sticks, and millennials were smoking fucking bath
K2.
salts.
K2 and bath salts.
Hey, only I don't think it was like when bath salts came out. I was like fucking like 14. We were not doing bath salts.
Well,
When bath
you
salts
aren't from
came
Florida.
out, yeah,
Oh,
no,
that's true. I'm not
actually,
from Florida. That's
you're
very
not.
true.
No,
That's true. Maybe
That-
maybe 14-year-olds in Florida. I'll ask my boyfriend. He lived in Florida when he was that age. I'll ask if he did bath salts.
people eating people's faces off and shit. That shit was
Yeah.
so wild. I'm like, what are you doing?
I
with your
literally think that
life?
was like a week. That was like a week. It was just like some crazy method shit. And the weirdest thing too is like if you take bath salts, the way your piss smells is insane.
The thing that's weird to me, right, is how they marketed.
Interesting little bit of.
I'm not even good. I was
That's all I
totally
can think
skipping
about.
over that. I didn't want to even delve into the why. You know what it smells
I work in
like.
healthcare.
Okay, I'll
That's
take
enough
that.
said. I just have smelled a lot of urine and drugs ones. They're real bad.
I'm not kink shaming you, Katie. I promise. Like, whatever you're into
I didn't
is
even
what
think
you're
of
into.
that.
Like,
I didn't
I'm
even think of
not-
that, dude. I was just thinking about gagging as people come into the hospital. And what shit comes positive in their urine. I'm like, oh god, that was awful. Awful smell.
I think it's funny to me, like that dollar store meth was marketed as bath salts to be able to be sold, like in gas stations and shit, and like Spice, like K2 was marketed as potpourri, and I'm just like, this is stupid. Like, this is stupid to me. Like, just go smoke some fucking weed or do some meth, buddy. Like, why you gotta buy that dumb shit? Like, I don't know. That's just me, but whatever. I was
Very
just more of like a live a
economical.
little. Yeah. Oh yeah. Maybe it was like lighter on the
Economical.
pocketbook.
Yeah.
Lighter on the
Economical
pocketbook, right?
reasons. For sure. Why make any decision other than
Right.
economical? I mean, if you had the money, you'd be doing like the good stuff. Which is, I don't even know.
It's that chocolate stuff.
The clean version of
The
whatever.
clean
it is.
version of whatever it is, right?
Yeah. Like the one without all the like chemicals that someone found under their sink to cut it with, you know.
Pharmaceutical grade.
So
Temper feels attacked.
Temper feels attacked by pharmaceutical grade drugs.
Dude, the healthcare jokes absolutely kill me every time.
I love the side effects,
Because
right?
I really feel
Yeah.
like he as far as like the Baymax kernel to start was great, but there's only so far that can go. But the healthcare
It's so good.
is like endless.
It's
Like,
killing me. That's getting me every time.
I can just mine that for like
Side effects like the colitis. What did you say that earlier? Smells like colitis.
that was a Hotel California reference. That's
Yeah,
actually
well,
a line in that song.
I smelled colitis. It smells terrible. it's
It
terrible.
was a very Hotel California vibe too. Like, you can check out whenever you want, but you can't leave, sort of thing. Like, sucks to suck, guy. Figure it out. I was kind of giggling, right? Like, Lala and I were DMing while you guys were like, we'll just leave and do this later. And we're like DMing, giggling, like, wait till they find out that they can't get out. And like, after you guys finished the green room, they were like, or the first room, I think it was the green one. Wait, then they were like,
Yeah.
She was like, wait till they figure out that the orange one isn't any better. And I'm like, dude, I know this is going to be totally great. Just wait.
What's the worst that could happen? It can
What's
get
the worst?
worse, right?
Yeah, like, and when I totally was just giving you the what could possibly go wrong. Jason's former character in this campaign was Yuri. He was a kobold rogue that was based off of Aladdin. And that was one of his catchphrases whenever they were getting ready to do something that was most certainly going to go wrong. He would be like, I don't see what could possibly go wrong, you know? And I was just like, I had to give it to him because it was just like the perfect moment. And somebody had said, well, I don't know what could go wrong. And I was like, yes, you know what? I don't know what could go wrong here. Let's find out.
Also, not worse.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that was great. Can be worse than that, right? Well, we'll see.
I'll tell you, I didn't have high hopes, but Phyllis did.
I'm waiting for you to drop the if I die, just throw them in the trash.
Dude, as soon as I can.
I'm so ready for my response to you when it happens.
Is Phyllis gonna get like worse as a person and go more fucking Frank Reynolds, or is she gonna progress as a person? I guess we'll find out.
True.
Well, the way things are going, she's gonna start drinking heavily.
Dude, oh, for sure. That
yeah, it's gonna start.
The Jack in the Box thing was really, really getting to us as a team. Me and Philly were really having a rough time.
With the Jack in the Box, that was perfect.
And at one point, you're going to ask me yes or no questions, but that was against the rules.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I can't speak less than 3 words.
That's so funny. And you were just like, let me think about it. I'm like, great. Good. Glad we did that.
Hold on. Yeah, that was like a masterclass exercise. Like,
so good.
She put that in the D&D Smithsonian for like how to stretch a party.
Oh, it was just like I felt like I was the only like straight character almost, and I was talking to a bunch of people that couldn't talk to me. I was going insane.
I was trying so trying to find lyrics that would just say a thing, but yeah. But again, it's like if you don't know the songs.
Yeah, it was so funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny. And I just got mad at Ollie almost. I was getting so frustrated with him.
Rob really was just going with the 2 things, Jack in the Box and the thing, because his was you cannot use any nouns except pronouns. The only exceptions are thing and Jack in the Box. So he really took those 2. This is acceptable terms.
Yeah,
that's all I need. Why would anyone need more than that?
Right. No, and he didn't. He did not need more than that. When he was describing getting up from the ground with his trunk, he was almost pornographic in his description of thing and like his vocal inflections on the words, and I was just cackling. I couldn't deal with him.
That's really good. That's so funny.
It was perfect. It was really good stuff.
The puzzle was really good. I really liked that. And I was like, just
I love puzzles. I love puzzles.
So fun.
I have some really, really good ones prepared for you guys. I love things that make you think, right? Like when we sat down for session 0, that was one of the things that I had talked about. Like I'm an 80-20, probably less than 20% combat DM, because I want to see the other things that come off of your sheet. Anybody can click, clack, math, rock, smash, and dash. You know what I'm saying? Like you can murder, hobo your life in any campaign. I don't want to see that. I want to see how you use your proficiency in an arcana skill and what your Eyes of the Runekeeper does for your character and what your features that you chose to take, why they're relevant in something other than heavy combat. Like I want to see you use your character to all of its potential other than just I take out my axe, I swing, I chop, things get dead, we go on.
Yeah.
So puzzles, even barbarians, like even a barbarian can solve a fucking puzzle. You just wait. There's one that Phyllis is going to be so perfect for. The name of the puzzle is called Fish and Sips or Pints and Pisces, whichever you may have.
Oh, so good. Absolute fire.
Yeah, absolutely. So and I don't care if you're like a negative intelligence character, right? Like if you are actively engaged in trying to solve a puzzle,
but not that bad.
Even so, like, I'm not saying you in general, I'm just saying any player in the party, I would rather you actively at least make an attempt instead of just be like, oh, well, I'm negative intelligence, I can't do anything. No, you can at least throw out some ignorant ass answers that look like they were trying to help even though they weren't, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking at the character sheet because I legit had no idea what the intelligence is. It's a 10, which is perfect. I can be dumb or smart.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like average.
Yeah, mine's like a 9, so it's just like a little on the dumber side, which is also why I kept playing Phyllis, is like just getting mad and shouting things that were like seemed kind of close. Rather than flat out saying it, because obviously I knew what I was supposed to say to get this to end. That I was like, come on, Philly, someone figure this out.
Yeah, that's why, like, the other day I messaged a couple of you and I was like, hey, can you fill out, like, these parts of your sheet? Because, like, your flaws and bonds and things like that. Because I really wanted to see more out of your character, like your background and your things like that. Hold on. Who's in here now? You two. Okay, I'll show you, like, for example, I put together, like, a easy, quick reference thing for all the NPCs, and like we have these sheets, like I put together these sheets for everybody, and that's why I really wanted to see like your personality traits, your ideals, your bonds, your flaws. I want to know things like that because I really want to know them as a DM so that I can play into them, but I really want to know what you have so I can see how you play into that too. Like that's more to me fun than combat. Like combat can be fun, but it just everybody knows how I feel. I think I've said it enough. I don't have to say anymore. I could say it till I'm as blue as this screen.
I gotta figure out how to do the chaotic part of the chaotic good more.
I think you really have the chaotic down,
Yeah, I
right?
think so, too.
Because your personality, it's kind of
it's all over the place.
It's all over the place,
meaning
right?
well the whole time.
Meaning well the whole time, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you just came out of like out of a character who has a very sort of even keel tone, very in box sort of voice. Like you have a certain voice that you use for temper and you stay in that, right? And then you just turned around and sang in all the different pitches and tunes. Like that's chaotic as shit.
Yeah. And then also just constantly introducing yourself to whatever is so chaotic. Like that's not a normal thing to do.
We were in the street in the town, and everybody's like, I don't know, what do we do? There's nobody around.
I am temper.
I should just yell out, I am temper.
I should just temper.
Hello. And I was like, I don't know. We're trying to sneak. I don't know. I don't want to fuck anybody
temper.
up.
Your healthcare companion. I can fix.
Yeah. On a scale of 1 to 20, could you rate how you are satisfied with your services?
Yeah. I have one of those where I keep forgetting to use it. That's really good. I need to use it next week. It's one of the because I have multiple 1 to 20 ones. Oh, it's so good. It's on a scale of 1 to 20, how would you rate your pain? It's right there, and I never use it.
Oh, pain, yeah.
Yep.
I need
I'm really excited
emojis for like the 1 to 10 pain scale is like the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
I like how you're like 1 to 20. On a 1 to 20, like
yeah,
I'm like that's a
20.
very.
Yeah. We are playing a D20.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna start rolling every time you ask that, and that's the answer I'm gonna give you.
What did you think of that roll for initiative? Speaking of rolling, how'd you feel about that? Jason put that together. I thought that was great.
Super cool. Yeah, super cool.
Yeah, that was really cool.
It also adds like an extra element of fuck.
Yeah, it's like but it also gives everybody time to roll initiative without me having to say roll initiative, and then there's like dead air. So it's like that 10 seconds of click, and the audience knows what's coming, you know what's coming, and then we could roll right into, okay, you're top of the order.
Yeah, whatever can avoid dead air is gonna bring me joy.
Yeah. Dead air is the real enemy.
The true enemy of D&D.
Yeah, it is the true enemy.
Or I hate when people take forever to decide what they're gonna do, and I'm like, you had 10 people to look at your list and think about what you're gonna do. It's like if you like play Scrabble with someone, I'm like, you're the same fucking letters that you had this whole time. Like, let's go.
Yeah. How is this? How are you still? How are you just now surprised it's your turn?
Yeah, I'm like, we all knew. You knew what initiative you rolled. You
We
had
used to
an
have
idea.
we used to have a friend who would say at the table at least 3 times a night. Didn't matter which game. It's still your turn.com. We were doing the roll for initiative thing, and I did the first voice I did. I was like real low. I was like, roll for initiative. I was like, that's not right. So I went squeaky and then up pitched it in GarageBand. So, and then I laughed. So let's play it. Because
That's really good.
So that should be fun.
Yeah, I love it. It's really good. I was so excited to drop it. Like, I spent the whole day putting together movies. Like, once I got access to the ability to do it this morning, I spent all day working on it.
Yeah.
And that was just it. And I was just off to the races because I found converters to convert YouTube files into MP3s and found out how to lay the MP3s over the videos. Like, I made the Pure Imagination video in the middle of session. Like, as you guys were talking to Bob, and I was trying to figure out how I was going to present the red and the green rooms to you. Well, they were orange and red in your guys' campaign, but how I was going to present them to you without my ability to openly broadcast music. Because Chris and I are broadcasting from the same room. He's sitting right next to me. I can't have an open mic with the music without it squealing like obnoxiously. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I had to try to figure out how to really bring it in. And I was like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. This is creepy. It fits the narrative, and we're going to roll with it.
Oh,
well, I was expecting
so
Oompa Loompas. I was like, guys, it doesn't matter which door. There's Oompa Loompas behind either door.
And I didn't even think about it was green and orange both.
Right.
Like
that's why I was like, this is.
Oh my god!
We're going to have Oompa Loompas behind the door. It doesn't matter which one we choose.
I was picturing the tea people from Alice in Wonderland. Aren't they like in green and blue?
Yeah, but the song was from Willy Wonka.
Yep, I'm gonna play it for you. Hold on.
Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination.
It's the second scariest moment of that movie.
It's so creepy.
Yeah, it's.
I like legit felt uneasy.
Yeah, because yeah.
I felt actually uneasy, and then I was like, "Oh shit!" Now I would be so upset if I heard what Phyllis heard. And her
and that's why I wanted to deliver it to you in a way that really encompassed the fears that you had all sent to me today. And like, you walked into the layer of a mind flayer. I really wanted you to know you were in the layer of a mind flayer. So I wanted you to feel that like psychic tap of the pain and anguish of your thing. So it was like a perfect song. And then you had all given me your fears. And I'm like, while this is playing, I'm going to describe to them how they're feeling as they're like stepping into this. And it really set the mood for how you guys approach the doors. And you guys are sitting there like, oh my fucking God, this is going to be insane. And Bob and I are over here crying about pissing our pants because we know that it's all jokes, but with some Yoda message at the end of it, right? Like,
yeah,
really, essentially, that's what it was. Your Jedi path of enlightenment to kick you into understanding. Multifaceted personality is really the way to go, and don't hold on to backstory attachment because it's ignorant.
That show was deep cuts for Philly though.
And I wanted it to be. I wanted your characters to feel the things that you said your characters are afraid of. That's why I said, don't fucking tell me I'm not afraid of anything, even if it's a potato, be afraid of something. You have to give me something to work with here.
Yeah,
And so-
I was walking when I saw that, and I was like, and you were like, yeah, cool. What's the second one? I was like, a second one? Oh shit, I don't know. And all I could think of in my head was babies. He should be afraid of babies. That's why he talks about babies all the time.
He's afraid, yeah.
I was like, I can't do babies.
I was talking to Bob, right? Like Bob and I's original plan was that Bob was going to tap a set of your fears and that I was going to tap a set of your fears. That's why I wanted two from everybody. But it got to Bob was just like they really stepped into Lala really stepped out of her comfort zone in playing long-term NPCs and bigger personalities instead of like a minor shopkeeper, which was what she had originally intended to play. So she kind of like got a little nervous, froze up a little bit, and so then I just took it all and let her just stay where she was at and didn't push her any farther out of her comfortability because I didn't want to blow her experience for it, because I want those guys to have just as much fun as we're having, So I'm glad that you guys really kind of got grabbed in the feels by it, because that's what I wanted. I really wanted it to be an emotional experience, But anyways, I think we've been talking shit for about an hour and a half, so let's I'm gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
And we'll catch everybody next week.
Yes.
See you.